Hello, whistleblowers everywhere. So welcome to another tune breakdown. This is a request I've had from, in fact, I've had a couple of people requesting this tune, and it's a popular jig which is often played at sessions. It's known as Father O'Flynn. Now, it's also known as At the Top of the Cork Road or The Top of the Cork Road. Both the same tune. You tend to find that in a lot of traditional tunes. They may have more than one name, and quite often you'll find that there's more than one tune that has the same name, such as Toss the Feathers. I think I've heard three or four different tunes called Toss the Feathers, and same with Pigeon on the Gate. There's probably about two or three, if not more, tunes called the Pigeon on the Gate. So um, you tend to find tune names can get swapped around, or a single tune will be known by one, two, or perhaps even more than that. Say there's a reel called The Merry Blacksmith, which is also known as Paddy on the Railroad. So it can get a little bit confusing at times. But yeah, this is Father O'Flynn and the top of the at the top of the Cork Road. As always, I'm going to play it through without any ornamentation, just separating notes that are the same by cuts. And I'm going to do it fairly slowly, so I'm going to do it with a click set to 60. So with this tune, there really isn't many places to breathe, so we may have to look at the breathing separately and look at how we can adapt the written music and make some or make a couple of breathing points. But for now, I'm just going to breathe when I need to breathe, and as I said before, I've set the click to 60. So here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, so before we look at any ornamentation, let's have a look at the breathing and what we might need to do in cases of dropping a note. Um, so let's go from the top and play through slowly, and let's see where a breathing point would work. So there, I'm dropping that C sharp, and that's the second to last note in the last bar. Um, it's not a crucial note to drop, and if we're going to drop any notes at all, it's better to drop that one. I think it will flow better. So let's try that line again. Yeah, and then it picks up nicely from the A. Now, instead of playing the three Ds at the end there, I like to play it as a C sharp. So I'm going. Right, so let's just play through the first A part nice and slowly. Yeah, so I'm only tonguing the first note after I've taken a breath. Everything else is just done with continuous out blowing. Oops, almost ran out of breath there at the end. So got to make sure that you really time it. So let's try that again. So just playing it a fraction faster, I was able to get it to there. But for now, don't worry as you're learning this piece in terms of getting your breath. But those would be the natural places where I would breathe. So if I set my click to 60 again, 1, 2. So that's how I would deal with that at that speed. There's really no need at this stage to think about too much in the way of how you're going to play it when it's sped up. If you do play faster, then obviously you don't need to breathe as much. But do bear in mind that if you're playing it at speed, choose your breathing point that will not interfere with the flow. So if I now double this, or not double it, but if I put it up to, let's put it up to about, let's put it up to 90 so you can hear what I mean by that. 2. So at faster speed, I didn't need to breathe as much. But I did have to make a sacrifice of the C sharp in that second to last bar on the second line. So I'll show you what I did again. So even playing at that speed, we do need to have to alter or maybe drop one of the written notes for a breath. Don't worry. Certainly don't worry about playing it at that speed for now. The important thing is to try and get the flow and the evenness going at 60. Even slower than that, you could even do it at 50. So let's put my click down to 50. Here we go, 50. So 1, 2, 1, 2. So there, it worked for me to take the same breath notes that I did at 60 at 50. But if you need to breathe at a different point, or you need to breathe more, especially if you're playing this on a low whistle or a whistle which has got a more hungry air capacity, then you're going to need to breathe more. So think about the golden rule for taking a breath. Don't let it interfere with the flow of the tune. Yeah, and if you need to drop a note, don't drop the first note of the bar because they tend to be the most important notes. Yeah, so choose which note you can forego, which doesn't make too much of a difference to the sound or the tonality of the piece that you're playing. Okay, so that's A part. Let's have a look at the B part now. Okay, so we've got a natural breathing point after that crotchet A at the end of that third line. So I would take a breath there. Now the next note is often played as a C natural rather than the C sharp. So that's the way I learned it. And then we go back all the way to the beginning and play it through twice. So it's an AABB form. So I've got mine at 50, which is a little bit slow, but I'm going to play it through at that speed with the click. And again, only tongue when you've taken a breath. And notes which are the same, then separate them with cuts. Yeah, here we go. 1, 2. So now let's do a walkthrough. So I'm going to play each bar and then I'll play one line when I get to the end of it. So starting on the A. Yeah, so what we're doing, we're missing out that C sharp for a breath. So I'm going to play it a little bit faster now, and we're going to pause at the end. Okay, let's do the second line. Okay, and let's do the whole of the second line. Yep. Okay, so let's do the B part now. Now I separated the two F sharps with a cut, If you prefer to tongue them, that's fine. So that was with cut, and if you want to tongue it. Okay, next bar. So again, I cut the A. But you can tongue it. Okay, third bar. So there, I'm separating the second A with a cut, and the third A, the long crotchet A, with a tap. Or of course you can tongue them. Let's try the whole of the third line. So now we've got a little C natural which I sneak in there to start the fourth line. So there, separated the two B's with cuts, but again you can tongue. Next bar. Again, tonguing the two to separate. And then the last two bars. So let's do the whole of the B part now. So up to now, we've only used some cuts to separate the notes, which are the same. Let's have a look now at some of the ornamentation that we can add to this tune, and some of the changes and variations that we can put in this tune. There's an awful lot of things you can do. I'll just show you a few, but yeah, try them out and see how you get on. So now that we've got the basic tune, let's have a look and see how we can add a few ornaments and make a few little changes. So let's start with the A part and go really slowly. So I like to put a little triplet in, so I'm going F sharp, G, A on that second group of three. Now if you want, and you want to be tricky, you can do a staccato triplet. Ta-ka-ta. So it's triple tonguing, which is a bit of a misnomer really, because you're not going ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. You can do triple tongue, you can go ta-ta-ta, but at speed it sounds much more clean if you go ta-ka-ta. So you may want to practice that triplet, that. Ta-ka-ta. Now, if you prefer it as a legato triplet, that's fine. You just go. So first 2 bars. So I wouldn't particularly do anything other than that triplet in the first bar. So next 2 bars. So we're going bars 3 and 4 on the first line. What we've got written. So what I like to do, put a long roll on that E. So instead of going, I can go. Now you can use that as a variation and just throw that in, or you can play it however you want. So first time you might go and just put a little cut on that high G. There, put a little cut on the high G. Or you can long roll the E. So instead of playing E, F sharp, G, I'm just putting a long roll and essentially turning that E into a dotted quarter note. So let's have a look at that first line with the additional ornaments and that little variation. Missed out the C sharp because we're going to take a breath there. So the next line. Now you can either put that variation again, that little F sharp G A triplet, or you can just play it as written. Use your own discretion. Put it in wherever you like. So pretty much the same as the first line, first 2 bars. And again, if you want, you can add a long roll. So I'm going to play it through twice, the A part. First time I'll play it with just adding that additional cut on the G, and then the second time round I'll oh, and also adding the tripleted bit the second time round as well. So first time round I'll play it pretty much as written. Second time I'll add the little variation so you can hear. 1, 2. So just a few little variations, a little few changes, such as adding the roll. Instead of playing those 3 notes, we're adding the E long roll. Pretty much keeping it fairly much the same as what's written. Okay, let's have a look at the B part now. So what's written? So what we can do, instead of playing, what I like to do, long roll on the F sharp, and then cut that second F sharp. So slow. Note, cut, tap, cut, G, A. Okay, and then the next bar. Let's put those 2 together. So bars 3 and 4. Now if you want, you can do a short roll on the A at the end. So what I would do in that case, C sharp, A, tap the A, then short roll, cut, tap. So it's going. So C sharp, cut, tap, and then cut, tap on that crotchet A. So let's try that whole line. Or if you need to take a breath there, you can leave that little C natural out if you want, because you won't, if you're doing the short roll on the A, you won't have time to get a breath, so you can drop the C natural, or if you want, you can just cut the A and then take a breath there and get the C natural in. So you've got options. I'll show you both ways. So the first time. So there I drop the C sharp. Now if you want to keep, C natural. Now if you want to keep that C natural in, I'll just cut the A and then get the breath. So. So try it both ways and see which you like the best, or you may decide to do it differently each time, which is fine. As long as you get the breath in and you don't displace the tempo, then it's all good. Okay, so the last line. So what we've got written, so you can do what's written and cut the B's. So I'm cutting the first B and then I'm cutting the first B in the next group of 3. Or what I like to do is do a long roll on the B. So it's like we did on that high F sharp, same pattern. Note, cut, tap. Note, cut, tap, cut, C sharp, D. Okay, so moving on. Now we can do that little triplet run again. Either legato or staccato. Okay, so the last 2 bars. Or we can do that E roll. And there I'm cutting the F sharp in the last bar. So let's play the whole of the B section. So first time I'll play what's written, and then the second time I'll add the variation and the ornament. So yeah, getting that long roll on the B on the last line, first bar. So if we go from the last bar on the first line, on the third line, to the first bar on the fourth line. Or So now we've got that. Let's play the whole of the tune. We'll do it at 60, which is a reasonable pace. It's still slow enough for you to work on the rhythm and what you need to do with that rhythm. So let's play it. First time round I'll play it as written, just with the cuts to separate the notes. And second time round I'll play it with the ornament and the variation which we're going to add to it. So here we go. 1, 2. So that's pretty much it. I wouldn't put much in the way of overly ornamenting it. I play it pretty much that way. I do make a few little changes, and I add the odd little cran or a little slide here and there. But again, ornamentation is for you to use the way you want to use it. If you don't like using any of the ornaments, then simply don't use them. Just play the tune as it is, and it works great. You know, it's fine. You can play it all the way through. Without using any ornamentation at all. I tend to use the cutting of the same notes rather than the tonguing. But you can play it all the way through, which I'll show you now, without using any ornamentation at all. So B part. It still sounds great. You know, the ornaments are the icing on the cake, not the cake itself. The tune, that's what's the most important thing. So before I go, I'm going to just play it through the way I ornament it. And again, it changes every time I play it. I don't have a set way of playing it really, but I'll show you some of the kind of things I do and some of the variations which I put in. So I've set my click up to now. I'm whizzing away at 110. Here we go. 1, 1, 2, 1. There you have it. That's Father O'Flynn, or Top of the Cork Road. If you found this tutorial and tune breakdown helpful, then I would really appreciate it if you would subscribe. It would really help me out an awful lot. The more subscriptions I get, the more of these videos I can do. the more tune breakdowns and tutorials I can do, and sometimes I do some whistle reviews as well. So your subscriptions are really important, so I'd appreciate it. And share this with anyone who you think may benefit from this tune breakdown or have a go yourself. I will be doing quite a few more tune breakdowns to come. Also I'm going to do very shortly a review on all my MK whistles. As I said in a previous one, I'll probably do that one next, or if not next, then very soon after that. So any comments, I'd really appreciate your comments. Your feedback's always really useful. So yeah, it's been lovely to share this breakdown with you, and hopefully we'll have a few more very shortly coming. Okay folks, that's it for me. Happy and safe whistling. Bye bye for now.